You've been hired as a junior researcher at the SCP Foundation. Maybe in your civilian life you were a scientist, a doctor, a psychologist, a security guard, or hell, even a janitor. I mean, someone's got to clean up the mess. But now you work for the Foundation, just a pawn undertaking one of the thousands of tasks in the Foundation. Yes, I did say thousands simply because there is a lot to the SCP universe itself. In short, it is a collaborative universe made by a bunch of writers to bring monsters and anomalies to life. The website is so extensive, in fact, that I'm certain you'll never finish the SCP series. For those of you living under a rock, the SCP Foundation is a collaborative work, most known for the science fiction, paranormal style reports of fictional anomalies. Clicking on one link will take you into a rabbit hole of different creatures, monsters, objects, locations, stories that you'll probably never be able to finish. I encourage you to check out the SCP Foundation by yourself, but if you want, you can also watch the entirety of this video. You're given a basic guide into the Foundation starting from the Universe Hub. The first thing you see is a letter from the administrator. Whoever that might be is probably in charge of the Foundation. I guess one could consider this a welcoming letter. The intro talks about mankind with a slightly dramatic opening, but here's where things get interesting. So what did we do for nearly 250,000 years? We huddled in caves and around small fires, fearful of the things that we didn't understand. It was more than explaining why the sun came up, it was a mystery of enormous birds with the heads of men and rocks that came to life. So we called them gods and demons, begged them to spare us, and prayed for salvation. Two more notable lines read, "Mankind must not go back into hiding," and "We secure, we contain, we protect." It seems that this administrator is adamant that we ensure the safety and protection of mankind. Otherwise, we may not just move down from the food chain, but very much disappear from it. Navigating from the website, we move on to object classes. Now, you'll notice when viewing an SCP article, that is, an article on an anomaly, you will find a class type. The three most common class types are safe classes, which are easily contained, Euclid classes, which are unpredictable, and Keter classes, which are difficult to contain. There are also uncommon class types, but to explain them simply, let's consider each class type through the locked box test listed here. Please note the word "it" in each of the statement refers to an SCP. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and nothing bad will happen, then it's probably safe. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and you're not entirely sure what will happen, then it's probably Euclid. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and it easily escapes, then it's probably Keter. If it is the box, then it's probably Thamiel. If you can't fit it in a box and it's about to end the world, then it's probably Apollyon. If you could have locked it in a box but chose not to, then it's probably Archon. If you killed it, then it's neutralized. Let's take a look at staff titles. You have different levels and classes, but I won't go into them in the video. The link is in the description if you want an extensive overview of any of the details I pointed out. What we're interested in is the bottom staff titles. We have basic roles like researchers, security officers, and containment specialists, so given their names, you can probably get a basic understanding of what they do in regards to the Foundation. Then we have the higher-ups, and the really higher-ups. The site directors are responsible for containing anomalies on different sites at a larger scale, and for reporting to the O5 Council. The O5 Council oversees worldwide Foundation plans. They must not come into contact with any SCP due to their great importance to the Foundation. What we know for certain, even though their identities are classified, is that there are 13 of them. Something that is a little bit more clearer than the descriptions of the O5 Council members are Foundation facilities. Sites in the SCP universe are places disguised to appear normal to the public containing SCP, both for the public's protection and for the Foundation's protection. It's impressive, and I should note the amount of details shown in each database alongside the respective logo. Now, to explain sites, a lot of them may specialize in certain areas outside containing anomalies. Site 14, for example, focuses on telecommunications within the Foundation, while Site 17, which interestingly enough does not have its location listed, holds a few SCP, but is focused on providing medical and psychiatric assistance to SCP personnel and even SCP themselves. I should also note that they are the two largest sites. Other sites focus on containing a specific type of SCP, such as Site 15. Specializing in electronic and computer-based SCP, it is also the headquarters of the Foundation's IT department. Site 23 is to store inanimate objects. Its location is not listed, probably for the better, since they are easier to steal for malicious purposes. Site 36. The site actually surrounds SCP-1135, a sentient village that eats matter to grow, and focuses on containing theological anomalies. Site 79 contains video game related SCP. Some sites have different approaches to containing SCP, such as Site 58, which actually gives limited freedom to its anomalies. They also believe that one day the SCP held in captivity will one day be free. Site 169 is a recreational facility where anomalies get to go if they're on good behavior. Surprisingly, it is quite successful at getting SCP to cooperate. According to its description, it hosts various events, including birthday parties, D&D campaigns, and once hosted the infamous Star Wars viewing party of 2011. Site 418 takes place on a Minecraft server, and the Site Extrasolar Site Anvil is 39 light years away in case the Earth is somehow destroyed. I should also note that a lot of the sites are close together, although the sites that don't have the locations listed may be located in the southern hemisphere. The reason for this isn't too well known, but I theorize that the SCP Foundation is most likely controlled by the US, hence the lack of sites in other areas. The Foundation Department lists some of the important departments that look after the Foundations. The O5 Council, which we talked about before, is obviously the most important. There's the Ethics Committee, which chooses the most necessary plans of action with the least amount of suffering. The Decommissioning Department, which will actually kill an SCP if necessary. Department of Mythology and Folklorist focuses on the role SCP played in human culture. The Department of Surrealists, who were founded by butterflies and do not identify SCP via logic. Their own statement reads, "Please leave your preconceptions and teeth by the door." Okay, time for the next segment, Mobile Task Force. When there's a dangerous mission, you can expect agents to be on the scene. Whether it's taking SCP down, finding missing personnel, or preventing disaster from striking, these people really know what they're doing. Some noticeable Mobile Task Force include the Deep Feeders, which deal with underwater SCP, Village Idiots focus on SCP in rural environments, Fire Eaters use equipment that can incinerate SCP, and deal in high temperature environments. The Mole Rats go into underground areas, mostly shaped as labyrinths. The Begone Thoughts are a team of seagulls. The Savage Beasts focus on music-based SCP. The Gardeners focus on plant-based SCP. Skynet focuses on digital-based SCP. Pest Control focuses on vermin and vermin-based SCP. The City Slickers focus on containing SCP in densely populated areas, most notably New York City. Cytherians were launched to Venus. Clever Girls focus on capturing prehistoric anomalies and dinosaurs. The Silencers hunt the undead, and finally, the Law's Left Hand answers only to the Ethics Committee and can execute high-ranking officials. This is in contrast to the Red Right Hand, who serve as the O5 operational unit and are very loyal to the Foundation. There are plenty more Mobile Task Force, and I have to admit, imagining a bunch of gardeners whose supposed purpose is to take down sentient plants sounds like the coolest idea for an action movie, but I digress. I'm sure if you're a fan of the SCP series, you would have heard of people like Dr. Jack Bright, who is so spontaneous there is a list of things he is not allowed to do, and Dr. Simon Glass, a psychologist who holds a lot of terrible secrets from higher ranking personnel. There's also former personnel who have died or have been terminated. SCP objects of notable interest will be looked at in the next video, and the O5 command and the administrator are also featured here. It appears that even though the O5 Council have to have their identity hidden, they are still listed here to some basic extent. The administrator is most likely the head of the Foundation and once represented meetings with major world government figures and is possibly retired or possibly deceased. You can even look under that and find an ominous message hinting about what's up ahead. Let's continue reading. The dossier shows you contradictory reports on each council member, so you are unlikely to find their true identity. According to the article, some of the information on each member might not be true. O5-1 is believed to be the leader, although that is still up for speculation. There are multiple interpretations for O5-1, including a mummified corpse who was only alive due to sheer willpower, and another version who claims to be Adam's third wife from the biblical tale of Adam and Eve. Although interesting, that's not exactly the information we're looking for. What we're interested in is the link below that's titled the Swallowed Tail Source. Clicking on other council members, we find the same source listed. Here we see a particular group or person talking about their grievances against each of the overseers and showing a general dislike towards them. As we scroll down to the files, we start seeing a different aspect of the website. This is pretty normal and is another reason why you will never finish the SCP series. Each link is a gateway into another section of a website with even more links and secrets. Each of these links has a story to tell. O5-1, aka the founder, is apparently an Aaron Siegel who attended Cornell University during the early 1900s, so he would be dead by now, right? Well, according to a source, he continues voting in council meetings even though he is very secretive and doesn't actually involve himself that much in the running of the Foundation. We also see he was involved with the administrator who, according to the article, is named Friedrich Williams. Chances are some of the O5 members probably use SCP in order to extend their lifespans. O5-2, aka the Nazarene, is a female of Middle Eastern descent who looks to be in her 20s. She's thought to have been the head of the ethics committee and is never seen without O5-1. She also carries around black gloves, which some people believe to be her hiding her wounds from her crucifixion as Jesus from Nazareth. This is a pretty far-fetched rumor, but does explain her nickname. O5-3, aka the Kid, is believed to be an AI. They only appear on screens as an avatar with a digitally constructed voice. They are also a bit responsible for record keeping, but otherwise remain very well hidden, even more so than O5-1 and O5-2. O5-4, aka the Ambassador, is believed to be, at least according to records, Jean Ebrahimi, who was fittingly an actor. I say fittingly as the ambassador is mostly used when the Foundation requires a pretty face to direct attention away from it. He acts as the Foundation's salesman and during World War II directed attention away from Mexico, most likely when anomalous activity occurred there. O5-5, aka Blackbird, is a male and possibly of British or Moroccan ancestry. He is noted for forming the research of the Department of Paranormal Organization Review and has led research into alternative realities. He is regarded as the most humorous member and doesn't actually take the council that seriously. O5-6, aka the American, is a Caucasian male of Spanish ancestry. He has by far the most known information about him out of all council members. It appears he has strong ties with military history, was the first to meet the administrator, found the first mobile task force, and many military leaders consider his authority second only to the president. So he does have some pretty strong power in that regards. O5-7, aka Green, is a female of British or German ancestry. She is believed to be the one in control since O5-1 is not exactly present. She's often described as being the most sinister out of the entire council and was in fact the first to replace the previous O5-7 after they stopped being useful. She is also very power hungry. O5-8, aka the Lesser, is a Caucasian male whose identity is mostly unknown. He is paranoid and thinks all other council members are trying to kill him. He was previously the leader before O5-7 and used funds from his brother's business. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, his brother died, putting the company into ruin, and he could no longer finance the Foundation. He now modifies his body and soul using anomalous technology. 05-9, aka the Outsider, is an adult female of Maori descent. She is similar to the Lesser, but not as weak. The other council members view her as short-sighted, and though secretive, she has gone on to produce technology and projects useful to the Foundation, so she still has some use in that regard. 05-10, aka the Archivist, is Diane Walters, a former librarian who you don't want to mess with. She keeps extensive documentation of every activity taken on Earth from the moment she was elected into council. According to the file, her documents are kept in a machine beneath Yellowstone. She is seen as the most bloodthirsty member and sees normal humans as being below her, simply being a means to an end. 05-11, aka the Liar, is completely unknown. They most often maintain the appearance of a wealthy woman in lavish outfits and have a hidden scar on their left temple. They kind of just appeared on the council one day. They maintain cover stories for their foundation, so may remain hidden from the public, and they are considered dangerous, possibly having reality-altering powers. 05-12, aka the Accountant, is an African male who appears to be in his 40s, wears fancy clothing, but most notably acquires most of the funding for the Foundation, and has significant control over worldwide financial markets. Arguably the most important in my opinion, as much of the SCP Foundation is probably very expensive to run. 05-13, aka the Other Overseer, is a former Dr. Felix Carter. He apparently made a deal with the actual embodiment of death in order to prolong the lives of each individual council member, to significantly prolong their lives as a way of remaining in control. To wrap the video off before the next episode, we'll end with groups of interest. Groups of interest involve groups who contain, use, or attempt to create SCP. We won't go too in depth, as chances are when researching other SCP we might see a mention of them. Ambrose Restaurants are a restaurant chain which serve anomalous food. Arcadia makes video game SCP. Are We Cool Yet are a bunch of artists who make art installation SCP. The Black Queen is an individual who knows a substantial amount about the Foundation itself, possibly via anomalous means. The Chaos Insurgency are great enemies of the Foundation and are also responsible for providing documents of the O5 Council. They actively harm the Foundation and develop authoritarian regimes in poor countries. Dr. Wondertainment creates SCP for the entertainment of children. Gamers Against Weed create SCP because they believe it's funny. They also give SCP to left-wing politicians for some reason. The GOC want to destroy SCP. The Manor Charitable Foundation will steal helpful SCP in an attempt to benefit society, but they use rather outlandish methods that have resulted in the deaths of many Foundation personnel. Marshall Carter and Dark Ltd are known for putting significant financial and social pressure on the Foundation. They often leak Foundation data, have caused several breaches, and want to give their clientele who are part of the club unique and rare experiences, possibly relating to anomalies. The Once Men are an organization of dimension-traveling journalists who aim to explore the mysteries of the universe. Although wanting to work with the Foundation, they have created SCP and disagree with the Foundation's philosophy of keeping SCP hidden to the public. In the next episode of this series, I will be talking about some of the most common SCPs that you probably know about. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. This one took quite a while to make in terms of research. There was a lot of digging in terms of files, I guess, on different parts of the website. My purpose of the video is to show the huge scope of the SCP universe. It is really big. Like at one point I saw a web page that actually required you to enter a code into a number pad, and I had to search up what the code was. It was just the number 5. You just had to press the number 5 several times, that's all. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really interested to do the next episode. If you do have popular SCP you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Feel free to join the Discord server, link in the description to talk about it there. Alright, that's it. Bye.